Good Wednesday evening, everybody. This is Stephen Ray, and I hope everybody is doing quite well this evening. Uh, as you see, the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service has placed a good portion of North Mississippi and Northwest Alabama underneath a moderate risk for the potential for long track violent tornadoes tomorrow. Now, today was a beautiful day. However, the atmosphere right now is setting the stage for a potential nasty weather event this time tomorrow evening. So, once again, there is a moderate risk that has been issued basically from just outskirts of Memphis down to Jackson and over to Tuscaloosa and the Birmingham metro area. So that is the situation that we have right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you region by region and give you guys a breakdown of what is going to happen here this evening and overnight and then into the day tomorrow. So if you were over here in central Mississippi, if you are in the red shaded area, you guys are in the moderate risk. This does include Jackson, Yazoo City, Greenwood, Eupora, Philadelphia, Columbus, Meridian, and points off to the north and to the east. You guys in the red shaded areas can expect tornadoes likely, some strong and long tracked, damaging winds upwards of 80 miles per hour, and large hail greater than the size of golf balls. Now, once again, that is for the areas in the red shade, the 4 out of 5 confidence. Now, if you are a little bit further off to the south, if you are in the enhanced risk area, which is the orange shade area down there in Mississippi, you can see tornadoes likely, some possibly strong and damaging winds upwards of 70 and large hail to the size of golf balls. And then if you were down there closer to the coast and the Pine Belt area of Mississippi, you guys can see tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail to quarter size to golf ball size. But once again, if you guys are in the moderate risk area, which is basically from the Jackson metro area and 2059 all the way north and east, you guys can see tornadoes likely, some strong and long tracked, damaging winds upwards of 80 miles per hour, and large hail greater than the size of golf balls. I would not be surprised to see a couple of areas within Mississippi see up to baseball sized hail tomorrow with these supercell thunderstorms. Now, outside of thunderstorms, there is going to be strong, damaging winds, pressure gradient winds, and if you are in the elevated risk, which is in the orange area, which is a good portion of Mississippi, tomorrow you can see sustained winds of 20 to 30 with gusts upwards of 50. So this is a very serious situation. Some down trees and power lines are possible when winds get upwards of 45 to 50. Travel may become difficult for high-profile vehicles, and these winds, once again, are outside of any thunderstorms. And I also need to mention, let me go back here and say that if you are in the delta of Mississippi, basically from I-55 and points off to the west, you can see severe weather between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. If you are along the I-55 corridor, your threat is from noon until 5 p.m. And then far areas of East Mississippi, Starkville, Columbus, Meridian, Hattiesburg, Laurel, and Jackson, your threat is from noon until 7 p.m. tomorrow. So this is going to be a supercellular type event with a lot of moving parts. But once again, if you are in Mississippi and if you are in the moderate risk, you have the potential of seeing strong, long track, violent tornadoes in Mississippi. Now, let's move over here to Alabama. If you guys are in the red shaded area, which you can see that Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Gadsden, Jasper, Fayette, Hamilton, Guin, Aliceville, you guys are in the moderate risk zone for strong tornadoes, some violent and long track, damaging winds upwards of 70, and golf ball sized hail. Now, if you are along the area there from Demopolis to Clanton to Anniston, you guys are in the enhanced risk for tornadoes, damaging winds upwards of 60, and quarter sized hail. And then a little bit further to the south near the Montgomery area, you guys are in the slight and the marginal risk as well. Now, if you guys are up in northwest Alabama, basically along Highway 278 and points off to the northwest, your threat is from noon until 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. If you are along the 2059 corridor from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa, noon to 10 p.m. If you are from basically around the Montgomery area, 7 p.m. to midnight. And then if you're down there in far southeast Alabama, below severe limits for Troy and Eufaula. So that is the situation for central Alabama. Now, for my friends in far north Mississippi, Oxford, Tupelo, Hernando, Memphis, Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee, basically, I would say Jonesboro, Arkansas. You guys are still in the risk for large, violent tornadoes. And as you can see here, the threat level of tornadoes from the National Weather Service up in Memphis is pretty high. Now, the wind up there is the highest, followed by hail and tornadoes being second and third. Now, all modes of severe weather are likely. Severe storms capable of large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes. All of the Mid-South between 4 a.m. through 9 p.m. Thursday, with the greatest risk being between 2 and 8 p.m. Now, your action. Have multiple ways of receiving warnings overnight tonight and remain weather aware into the day tomorrow if you are near the Memphis metro area, Oxford, or Tupelo areas in Mississippi. Now, you may be wondering, where do you go in the event of a tornado warning or a tornado is sighted? The top floor and top rooms of your home does not protect you from a tornado. The exterior rooms, meaning the ones near the outside of your home, do not protect you, and no place outside is safe from a tornado. Quickly move to your basement and bring your emergency supply kit with you. Now, here's the deal. A lot of site-built homes today do not have a basement. If you do not have a basement, go to an interior room on the lowest floor near the center of your home and away from windows, a bathroom or an interior closet will do just fine during a tornado, but you got to get off the top floor. A car and a mobile home is a death trap for tornadoes. So you got to get out of a mobile home in the event that there is a tornado coming towards your area. So if you know of anybody, like a relative or a friend, and if you live in a mobile home, call up a friend, a relative, and ask them, can you stay with them tomorrow during the worst of the weather? Because site-built homes are a better solution than a car and a mobile home. So one more time, we have a moderate risk out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over here to the models, and we're going to run through this. Now, this was the 18Z data, which came out about 4 hours ago. There is another batch of model run that comes out at 10 o'clock this evening, and that will be the 0Z data. Models run on Zulu time. Okay, so we are looking now at the North American model. I'm going to do the North American model first, and then I'm going to do the high resolution rapid model, the HRRR. Okay, so here is the NAM currently, and we have a warm front which is going to move its way further north overnight. Now, overnight, you're going to get some wind, you're going to get some heavy rain, maybe some thunder, but the severe weather threat overnight is rather low. Let me repeat that. The severe weather threat overnight is rather low because this line of rain and storms is going to continue to move up towards the north, and it will clear the Tennessee Valley between now and about noon tomorrow. And once you get south of that warm front coming north, that's when things are going to get increasingly nasty tomorrow. Okay, so there is your warm front, and I'll show you just a minute when we go over to the radar site. I'll show you exactly where the warm front is located, but I want to run through the models first. Okay, so the warm front right now is basically from Baton Rouge to just north of New Orleans as we speak. And as you can see, it continues to progress. And by about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, everybody in central Alabama is pretty much north of the warm front. Because as you can see right here, by 17Z tomorrow, the warm front is situated from about Little Rock, Arkansas, over to Chattanooga, Tennessee. And everybody down here in the south of that front, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden, Jackson, Mississippi, everybody south of that is in the warm sector. And it could get nasty tomorrow evening. Okay, so let's go over here to 1 o'clock tomorrow. Things are getting really soupy about this time tomorrow. And as you can see, there is a batch of storms that is firing up from Brookhaven to about Jackson, Mississippi tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. And those could quickly become severe. And then as you can see, by 2 or 3 o'clock, they are from a position basically from just south of Starkville down to Philadelphia, Mississippi. And then as you can see a little bit later on, they move into West Alabama tomorrow afternoon about 4 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And any one of these storms within this batch, anywhere that you see a red core, it could have the potential to produce a really quick spin up, nasty, long, violent tornado. And as you can see there, the main line of storms is still back here west of the Mississippi River tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So then the first batch of storms moves on out, and then tomorrow night at about midnight to 1 a.m., the line of storms comes on through West Alabama. And by that time, probably about midnight to 1 a.m. in the morning, Friday morning, everything will be completely out of West Alabama. Okay, so that's the NAM, and I know that the NAM did not look like it was pretty nasty, which is a good thing. If you don't like severe weather, you want the NAM to verify, because the NAM, which we're looking at right now, looks more like a batch of rain and storms, which actually could limit the severity of the severe weather because of the nature of the rain and storms. However, let me take you over here to the HRRR, which usually does better in this situation. Okay, so here comes your warm front overnight. And about 3 to 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning, it starts pouring down rain here in Tuscaloosa. And it stays around for a pretty good time in the morning. And then, of course, tomorrow afternoon, stuff starts to fire south of the warm front, which is not a good thing. And then tomorrow morning, probably around 11 to 12 o'clock, you can see stuff is starting to fire back here in Mississippi. And this is a very scary look because any of these splotches that are red right here is going to be supercell thunderstorms capable of producing the long track violent tornadoes. Now, as we progress this on, it looks eerily similar to what the radar showed on April 27th. Now, is this going to be anything like April 27th? No, I don't think so, but the parameters are really off the charts for this one as well. So as you can see here, tomorrow around 3 o'clock, storms are lined up and supercellular in nature from central Mississippi back into southwest Alabama. And at this point, they would be moving from a southwest to a northeast component with them. And then, as you can see, they continue to push on over into Tuscaloosa, and this would be tomorrow night about 6 o'clock. As you can see, a supercell thunderstorm is sitting right on the Tuscaloosa-Pickens County line. And then by 8 o'clock, it is all gone for West Alabama. So, if you do not want severe weather, the NAM looks like the better solution. However, the HRRR usually handles systems a lot better because they've got the weather stuff in it. So basically, it is going to be a complex system, to say the least, for the next few hours. Now, let me real quick take you over here and show you the radar. Just a sec. All right. So here is the radar currently right now. As of 8:21, we have a warm front. Let me go ahead and draw where the warm front is right now. The warm front is basically sitting here from Baton Rouge to Covington to Gulfport, Mississippi, and then over here towards the Mobile and Pensacola areas. And this is going to continue to push on off to the north and to the east, and we'll try to clear the Tennessee Valley by the time we get into noon tomorrow. So overnight, you're going to see a lot of rain, maybe some rumbles of thunder, maybe a little bit of small hail, maybe dime size or less. And then basically you guys are going to see some wind really kick up on the backside of this. But once you get south of the warm front, that is basically when everything is going to go downhill potentially tomorrow. So right now, rain is getting eerily close to Hattiesburg, Purvis, and Macomb, Mississippi. So overnight tonight, I cannot rule out a very, very isolated severe storm Now, the tornado risk is very, very low overnight with this warm front moving on up. Now, if we were to see any severe weather tonight, it would basically be in this zone right here that I'm circling, because the further north this warm front goes, it's going to encounter drier air aloft up here towards the Highway 82 corridor, and that's going to lessen the severe weather potential as you go further north overnight. And once the warm front gets north of you tomorrow, that is when things are going to get really, really nasty. This time, I would say probably from about 11 a.m. Tomorrow, if you're over there in Mississippi, all the way through midnight tomorrow night if you're over here in Alabama. And if you're over here in Alabama, I would say your greatest severe weather risk would be from about noon to 8 to 9 p.m. if you were on the western side of the state, further long if you were on the eastern side of the state. So, one more time, for the western portions of the state, including Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, I would say Hamilton, and places like that, from noon tomorrow through 10 p.m. tomorrow night is your threat of seeing severe weather. So once again, overnight it is going to be blustery. Once the warm front gets north of your area, you're going to have some lightning, some thunder, some heavy rain, maybe some small hail, but it can't rule out a couple of severe thunderstorms, isolated severe storms south of Jackson. But as you get up here closer to Columbus, Tuscaloosa, and places like that overnight, things will kind of settle down. It will become a rain event, and then tomorrow is when things really get kicked off. Now, before I let you guys go, I do need to mention this. And this comes from the National Weather Service, and I'm going to draw this here on the screen for you. This comes from the meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, this is for the main event tomorrow afternoon and evening. Okay, severe storms will be possible across the entire forecast area on Thursday. However, current high-resolution model trends continues to suggest that the areas of best threats for the most intense, destructive, fast-moving supercells will reside over an area mainly along and northeast of a line from Grenada to Jackson to Meridian. So basically, Kosciuszko, Eupora, Columbus Air Force Base, Columbus, Louisville, Macon, Philadelphia, Union, and this would go over here into West Alabama as well. You guys have the best shot of seeing intense, destructive, fast-moving supercells will reside mainly along and northeast of a Grenada to Jackson to Meridian line. It'll be here that the best severe parameters in the afternoon and heating are expected, which could be large, violent tornadoes. So I would not be surprised to see the Storm Prediction Center, just like last week, put a small portion of this area under a high risk in the morning. So once again, from the National Weather Service out of Jackson, Mississippi, the most significant severe weather threat of long, damaging, violent tornadoes would be north and east of a line from Grenada, Mississippi, down to Jackson and over to Meridian. Those are the areas that would be the most impacted as well, and it would be over here towards the Tuscaloosa, Aliceville, reform areas as well. So that is why the moderate risk is in place for the areas where they are. And I'll take you back real quick and show you where the moderate risk is, just in case you guys joined late. There is your moderate risk, basically from Memphis, Tennessee, down to the Jackson, Mississippi metro area, and then over to Tuscaloosa and just on the outskirts of Birmingham. So if you are in the red zone, which is a pretty good portion of North Mississippi, central North Mississippi, and then northwestern Alabama, you are in the threat for long, violent tornadoes tomorrow. So, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sign off for this evening. However, I intend to do another full-length discussion video in the morning around 10 a.m. and then provide severe weather coverage as needed right here on social media tomorrow. But before I leave you, I'm going to pop back up the radar, and I'm also going to come over here and see if you guys have any comments as well. So, just a second. All right, so there's the radar. So let me go over here to the chat. And for some reason, there are no questions, but that's okay. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope that you guys can... Hey, man, thank you, Joey. I appreciate that. And let me just go on ahead and also say that the reason that I provide these severe weather updates is it's not for me. It's not that I want to get on here and ramble and all that. Here's the reason that I do these severe weather updates for you guys. April 27th, 2011 was a red letter day for a large portion of central Alabama and the entire southeast. 256 people died in the state of Alabama alone during that event. Now, meteorologists and weather nerds learned a lot from that day. We learned in the aftermath of that tornado that here's the reason why so much death and destruction happened. A lot of people did not know anything was coming because they only got their source of information from social media. They didn't have a TV, they didn't watch the TV, they didn't watch radio. They basically did everything by social media. That is why a lot of meteorologists and weather nerds now have Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, TikToks, all of that. We are trying to get you guys to know what's coming so we do not have a repeat of April 27th because we want to cover all aspects of getting the information to you guys as needed. So that is the reason that I provide the severe weather coverage is to, if your power goes out, if your TV goes out, you have another way of receiving critical information right here on social media. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Have a great night. Don't panic. We will get through this. This is typical southeast weather. I will be here to help you guys through this tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. with another update. Have a great night, and as always, God bless.